G'day, it's Nicola here. I've got a book review for you this week. It's on King. It's a powerful biography on the civil rights leader Martin Luther King. The show today is brought to you thanks to the Forever Young Autobiographies membership. This is brand new. It's got training, coaching, community, and you get a free trial. So stick around to the end and I'll go into more details. So the full title of this book is King, A Life, and it's by Jonathan Eig. It's a really vivid account of this civil rights icon, Martin Luther King. And it's really the first major biography in years about King, and it's got really great newly released information from FBI files included. So yeah, lots of new things to include. It's been put out by Macmillan Publishers and it has won so many awards, it's actually not funny, including the Pulitzer Prize winner for biography. And in today's show, I'm going to go over exactly what it's about, what's interesting when you read it, but also tips we can take away for our own life story creating. So let's jump in. What is this book about? Well, firstly, it's about 688 pages and it starts with King growing up in Atlanta. His father's a preacher and his mother is the daughter of a preacher, so he has this really sheltered upbringing. He moves to Boston University and completes a PhD, and it's there that he meets Coretta Scott, who becomes his wife and also helps teach him a little bit about activism in the early stages. They obviously marry, go to Montgomery in Alabama, where King becomes pastor for Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. And he really plays this key role in the successful 1955 bus boycott. This really kickstarts their activist life and they end up leading successful movements in the south of the country and also the north until King's tragic assassination in 1968 when he's aged 39. So it's a little bit about what the book covers, but things that I learnt that really were highlights for me as a reader from this was, number one, how doggedly pursued King was by FBI agents. They wiretapped everything, they knew his movements, they discredited his motives, and they even encouraged him to take his own life, which is just crazy, really, really unbelievable. But on the flip side of that, as a reader, we see how courageous King is. Like, he had these constant threats, these intimidations, there was abuse and attacks on his life, and he really just maintained the courage to see it through. But the final highlight for me was this learning about his conviction of agape. Now that's a word from the Bible, basically means to encourage love of everybody because God loves everybody. So that was very central to his non-violent protests. Really something new for me. I did learn a lot. It was a bit of a highlight. But let's move on now to tips we can take away from King, A Life. So obviously Jonathan, he's a very experienced best-selling author. He's also a former senior writer for the Wall Street Journal, no less. And so some great things that I noticed to share from his writings was, one, he highlights King's positive characteristics, but also his negatives, such as adultery. He really shows light and shade of his character, and we're human, we're flawed. We're going to have both. We can't sort of neglect our reader to show both sides. And then we let them make up their mind of what their views are of a character. So that was really important. And also, Jonathan really does show us how to write about historical moments, just bringing the reader right down to the ground and where it's happening. So he does this through interviews. So there's one example that I'll mention, which was Gordy Gunny Gundrum. So Gunny was a National Park Service ranger who's actually standing next to King on the stage when he was giving his 1963 I Have a Dream speech. So we hear from Gunny, we hear what it was like in the epicenter of this massive historical event, and really get to feel and hear it firsthand. So that was a really great writing example of how to do that. And finally, Jonathan shows us that, yeah, you don't have to do these really long drawn out endings. And in his case, he was quite precise, short and sharp. When King was assassinated, the book basically ends. So yeah, there's no rules for how you end a book. I've seen other books have more chapters after someone dies in a biography, but in this one, nope, he dies, the end sort of thing. So it doesn't have to be extensive afterwards. So that's kind of refreshing to know that you can do it however suits you and your story. So there we go, that's a bit of a book review on the Pulitzer Prize winning book by a best-selling author. And I've gone over a little bit about what it's about, what's interesting for us as readers, and tips for us as life story creators. But I hope when you pick up this book that you really will see that words can inspire a movement. Just like King, he was a great orator and he inspired so many movements. So this show is just a snapshot of a bigger article I have about this book over at my website. Go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/King. See cover of the book, there's a photo of Jonathan, quotes from the book and links to buy the book. So I highly recommend you go over there and give it a read. And while you're here or while you're over there, let me know who has inspired you to think differently during your life. Was it someone like King or was it a family member? Let me know in the comments or drop me an email. Go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/contact. Now at the top of the show I mentioned the new Forever Young Autobiographies membership. This is basically all training into one blueprint. You've got video lessons, there's 4 different modules. You've got lots of free bonuses as well, templates. Plus there's me in there answering questions in the forum, and we're building a community of life story creators. So you've got a network of other people treading the same path. So to get all of this, go get the free trial from foreveryoungautobiographies.com/membership. So that's a free first month for free. No obligation, cancel anytime, so I highly recommend that you go and check that out. Now I'll be back again soon with another topic. It'd be fantastic if you could follow, subscribe, like the show, share it with a friend, leave it a review. It all helps us as life story creators get the word out. So until then, happy writing.